can tell by the scared rabbit in the headlights look that this is the first time we're trying this bit out. So I am now in naked mode, no green screen behind me. But tonight we're going to talk about storytelling. Now, this is something that is well known in the speaker circuit as being really important. Why? I mean, why do you want to tell stories? Isn't that something that you do to little kids? Well, yes. And that's what you're doing when you're telling a story as part of your presentation. You're taking your audience back in time. Because if you think about it, who were the people who told you stories? They were trusted people. They were your primary caregivers, your parents, your uncles and aunties, your babysitters, your teachers, the people in your early years who were trusted. And by telling stories, you felt, having stories told you, you felt that you were special. So it's building on that subconscious level of, hello Deanne, that subconscious level of, I'm special, I'm being told a story. And it's that level of trust. So as you tell a story as a speaker, you're engaging your audience in a level of trust, which is vitally important as you are wanting to influence them to your call to action. So that's why it's important to tell stories. And the next thing is, what are you talking about? Why are you going to be telling these stories in the first place? What's your end goal? Because whatever it is that you're working towards is what your stories need to be about to lead to your end goal. Now, your end goal could be a call to action to get in touch with me, buy my product, look at my book. Quick plug here. Whatever it is that you've got on offer, that's where you're leading your stories to, your call to action. It may be that it's not a particular product or service, and what your call to action is a change of thinking. You're inviting a different perspective in your audience's minds. So we start with the end in mind. What is the call to action? And then we work backwards. What's your purpose? What is the point of you telling this story? Les Brown, who in my book is one of the best contemporary storytellers, has this saying that he says, never have a point without a story, and never tell a story without having a point to it. Because I'm sure you've been in that situation where somebody's been telling a wonderful tale and you thought, oh, where's this going? Because it's been very important to them and they wanted to tell you all about their whatever it was. So having a point to the story is really important. Having an emotional journey thought through is also important. Where do you want to take your audience as you're telling them the story? Think to movies or your favourite novel. They've got a set of emotions that they're taking you on, haven't they? And the best ones, I mean, think of suspense or thriller books. I mean, what's coming next? You've got to carry on reading. When it's the movies, you can tell from the soundtrack that something really important's coming up, because the music adds to the ambience, it adds to the story feeling, the emotional journey. And that's what you're doing with your voice as you're telling the story. Your voice is the soundtrack to the movie. That's where the modulation, that's where the speed the volume, or not, are all really important to grabbing the attention and being that soundtrack and having that engaging story. So, knowing where you're going, what's the point? Where are you headed? What's the emotional journey you want to take them on? And then you've got to think about your time frame. Have I got 5 minutes? Have I got 10 minutes? Have I got 20 minutes? Have I got an hour and a half? What is the time frame I have to get my audience from where they are now to where I would like them to be? And the vehicle along the way for illustrating your points, I strongly recommend, are stories. Let me give you an example, because so far there's been an awful lot of waffle. Well, no, not waffle, but important waffle. I've given you the context. And the context is vitally important, to have that in your mind, to have that laid out either in your head or on paper ahead of time. Those of you who've done any work with me will know that I have a template that I work to when I'm planning a talk. Who's the audience is also seriously important, because you then need to know, okay, what's the experience of the audience? What are the stories that I can tell that will resonate with them? Because you may have an audience that know nothing about what you want to talk about. I was talking with somebody a few weeks ago who is an expert in their field, and they don't want to dumb it down. They're inviting people who are intelligent, and I said, that's great. However, you are the expert in that field, and however intelligent people are, if they have no knowledge of your subject, they ain't going to come on board, because they have nothing to relate to. They can't bring their experience to your expertise and see how that could work for them. So knowing who you're talking to, endpoint, your purpose, your people, who are you talking to, how long of a time frame, and what sort of illustrations will resonate with your audience. Okay, example time. Those of you who know me well will possibly know one of these tales, because I tell it regularly. It's about assumptions and how easy it is for us to make assumptions about the other person we're talking to, that they're on the same page as us. And it's known as the curse of knowledge, those assumptions that we make. Now that's a good hook, isn't it? The curse of knowledge. Say what? Knowledge? Curse? In the same sentence? Knowledge is good, isn't it? Well then, how come you're saying there's a curse involved? Well, let me explain. Assumptions are things that we expect people to know. And those assumptions are made very often at a subconscious level. It's not something we're doing intentionally to confuse people. My first example for you is, because I speak English, you understand me. Because you also speak English. Now, I'm a native British English speaker, and I have migrated from England to Scotland, also British English, different from English. I'm now in Australia. Australian English is different to both of those variations, and is different to American and Canadian. And there's a difference between those two as well. Now, we speak the same root language, but oh boy, are there differences. Picture this. My first networking meeting, having arrived in Australia, and I'm talking to this lovely lady and she compliments me on my pants. I go bright red, excuse myself and go off to the ladies, because in the UK, pants are what you wear next to your skin. I thought she was telling me my flies were undone. So off I go, check myself out. No, everything's fine down there. Sort of compose myself. Come back into the room, and somebody who had watched this from a distance and chuckled came up to me and said, "You know, she was talking about your trousers, don't you?" I went bright red again. How did I not know that pants equaled trousers? Well, you see, if I'd been in America, I would have known that. But I didn't know that the Aussies also call trousers pants. There is an assumption on both sides at that point that we were speaking the same language. That's an example of an assumption around we speak the same language. Another example for you. Yeah, like thongs. Oh, yes. When I was coming out here to start with, Deanne, this will make you laugh. The classic, of course, is the Durex, because I don't know whether it is still the sticky tape name over here in Australia, but it's the brand name for condoms in the UK. So the Durex thing was always going to be a fun thing. Haha, yes, exactly. So that's one thing. Oh, and on that front, last time I was back in the UK, I was doing some shopping, and there was in the freezer department some very sort of high class fish. It was called gastro, as in gastronomique, except that here in Australia, gastro is short for gastroenteritis, and really not a very pleasant experience. So you wouldn't want to buy a box labelled gastro, I know. So that's, again, speaking the same language. Now, the other example I've got for you is context. I mean, there are plenty of examples around these assumptions, but these are two that I'm going to share with you tonight. Context. Again, making assumptions that people are on the same page as you. When I sold my house in Scotland, I was showing people round, and somebody said to me, "Oh, where are you going?" So I said, "Perth." "Oh, you'll be closer to Edinburgh. How lovely." And of course she was thinking of the Perth in Scotland rather than the Perth on the other side of the world. So context, what is expected from that situation, is really important. Does that other person have any idea that I was talking about Perth, Australia? No, because I didn't make it clear. Context. Are you on the same page? Again, around the expert that I was talking about last week, with a very, very scientific expert as well, not wishing to dumb it down. The context is he is putting people off because they've got nothing to relate to. My friend in the house situation, she was relating to Perth as in being 2.5 hours away by car, as opposed to 24 hours away by plane. Context is important. So, I've given you two examples of assumptions. I'm going towards my call to action, which is consider what assumptions are you making when you come to a conversation, when you come to write your marketing, your copy, when you speak from stage. Are there any assumptions you're making about your audience? Do they have the same life experience as you? Now, clearly, the difference between UK examples of gastro, as in gastronomic, lovely, really high-class food, and Aussie gastro, as in gastroenteritis, that context is really important. I had a chuckle because I knew both sides. Context, assumptions. What assumptions are we making? Are the people on the same page as us? Do we need to explain a little bit further? Always caution to explanation rather than assumption. So my call to action from my stories today is check in with yourself. What assumptions are you making as you come to an interaction with somebody? Stories have been the vehicle I've shown because potentially I could have gone, well, you're getting this all wrong. What is it you've got to think about? And I could have gone at it from a sort of waggy finger teacher dictatorial position. That's not going to help you to think about things calmly and from a position of being open to it. That's more likely to get the barriers up. So particularly if you are having a call to action that requires transformation, that requires a difference in thinking, a difference in perspective. If you're looking to get somebody on board for selling something, in your story you can cover the regular objections. You know what people are going to object to because you know who you're talking to. So you weave in a story of how somebody that you've worked with has gone through that objection and come out the other side. And because they're working with you, they have blossomed whatever it is that you want your target, you know your target audience is wanting. So those are the stories you will tell to get you to that call to action. Trust this has been helpful. The more engaging your storytelling, the more open you're going to have your audience, and the more likely that the call to action will be, in fact, actioned. Who are you? What's your purpose? Who are your people? What's the context that they will recognise? And stories around that they can relate to. Be engaging. What's the emotional journey you want to take them on? Particularly, then you can use your voice and your visuals to back up as the soundtrack to what you're saying. Okay? That's what I have for you today. Engaging stories. Thank you very much, excuse me, for being part of this. And do let me know, is this the best format to do these live hone your speaker skills? Please let me know. And also I'm going to be putting out a poll about the timing because I want to make sure that I'm serving as many people as possible. Okay? Thank you very much for listening, and we shall see you very soon. Oh, by the way, Demand Den, this Thursday, 7 a.m. Australian Western Standard Time. We'll be doing a little bit more on storytelling, so come along, and we'll also get some networking happening as well. See you on Thursday morning, 7 a.m. Australian Western Standard Time, 7 p.m. on Wednesday Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific. Sorry to Europeans. Bye from me.